Bless the Lord, brothers and sisters. So happy to be back yet again. I really and truly thank God for you tuning in. This is a very deep message. I hope that you share this message, and I hope that you and your family and your friends and people that you hold dear, and even people that you don't particularly care about anymore, or they're not in your life, whatever the case may be, I pray on their behalf that all is well. All is well. Brothers and sisters, we are living in the last days, if you hadn't noticed. And I want you to realize that, guess what? Complaining is a spirit. There's a spiritual ramification behind it. And I want to get to the root of it and tell you that when you do that, when that venom comes out, it's literally like music to Satan's ears. Oh, we're going to get started today. We're going to get deep because you need to realize that this is not just a cliche. Oh, let's just give thanks and Thanksgiving and things of that nature. No, we are commanded and mandated to give thanks in all things, even when it doesn't feel good, huh? Even when things in your life are just not positioned the way you want it to be positioned, even when things in your life just don't feel good, or circumstances or happenstances are just not making you feel fuzzy all around. We have to realize that as long as we have breath and life, God is still in the blessing business and blessing you with grace and mercy that's following you each and every day of your life if you are his child. If you are a believer, you have to realize how blessed you truly are. See, some people just forget how blessed they truly are, and they're consumed with the notion of complaint. They're consumed with it. They wake up thinking about what's wrong. They think about it during the day, during the week. They think about their lives. They regress about things in the past. And what are they doing? They are literally heaping up coals of depression, pride, bitterness, lack of faith. And usually people like that are really, really good at gossiping. Oh, brothers and sisters, we need to break the chains. We need to break the chains that are literally enslaving you in ways that you don't even know about. It's time to be set free today. Oh, not just because this quote unquote Thanksgiving is coming up. No. We have to, during the course of each and every year, recognize that you could have been sifted out and killed and busting hell wide open. But God's grace and love and peace and mercy is still live and well and following you all the days of your life. You have to realize, brothers and sisters, that you have a job to do, and that job is not done yet. And one of those jobs is to replenish your spirit. Have you been exercising the fruits of the Spirit lately? Do you know what the fruits of the Spirit are? Well, you need to get in your word. I will leave scripture, of course I will, in the body of this message. Some people don't realize that you can be your own worst enemy. You can curse yourself. You don't have to worry about anybody else cursing you. You can be in your own way, heaping coals of bitterness and all of these other demonic spirits in your life. Instead of pointing the finger at this one and that one, look at your life, look at yourself, and think back at how many times, even in the midst of this or that, or you got a fly in your soup, or whatever the case is. We don't want flies in our soup, you know that. But I'm just talking about habitual complaining about everything in life. You have a conversation with someone. They talk about something positive, or they try to shed some life at, wow, today's a great day today. Well, it's going to rain in a couple of hours. So, or you always find yourself, somebody's talking about something wonderful, and you're always ready to attack that conversation with something negative. That's how you know that you're full of the devil. That's how you know that spirit of love and that spirit of grace and that spirit of mercy is far from you. Examine your spirit. Examine your mind and your conversation and the way you are and the way you've been living your life. Think about it. Think about it. We don't all get it right. Maybe this message is for somebody to refresh them, to look themselves in the mirror even the more. We all fall short, brothers and sisters. But the bottom line is recognizing the spiritual ramifications. Okay? Not just, okay, well, you got found out, or, Samantha, okay, you're talking about me. No. Think about what happens on a spiritual level as these demons hear this music spewing out of your mouth. They are rooming like roommates in your life. They're taking residency now. Why? Because you opened up that door. You find yourself bound and hardened in your heart. You find yourself all of the time, peace is so far away from you. Mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, you are not rested. You go to sleep for 10, 20 hours, but you still, in your spirit, in your mind, your heart, physically, it has a physical manifestation in your life. Complaining is not benefiting anyone, brothers and sisters, because it puts you in a position of being paralyzed. Usually when people complain, they don't do much of anything. They just spew out a whole lot of venom. Nothing's getting done, but they want to be heard, huh? Oh man, they want to be on the top line of them feeling that their way is always right. Their word is right over that one or this one. You're not doing anything to solve any problems, or you're not stepping in instead of talking the talk and walking the walk. No, you have a critical way of spewing out negative energy to someone else. They are usually looking for, hear me very clearly, people who are in agreement with them. Right? See, their complaints need responses. They look for responses. They look for people who can align themselves, right, in addition to what they're talking about. And then when someone else, brothers and sisters, don't agree with them, they look for other victims, to agree with them. So that cesspool of bitterness, of pride, of lack of faith, of ego and ungratefulness, of anger and rage, of gossip, of all those demonic spirits, they need houses and they want to be hosts to your vessel. The longer you are in a state of complaint, you can complain about the smallest thing. Listen. Okay, let's do an exercise real quick. Let's just do an exercise. This world is designed for people to complain. It's designed that way. In other words, people, okay, probably on a marketing standpoint, do that for a living. You don't like this, you don't like that. It gives you so many choices. This is not good enough. I'll give you this. You get a cell phone, they have one extra camera, and they want you to psychologically feel that the one you have is not good enough. So you want to put that back and say, wow, I don't like this. That's a form of complaint. When everything else was fine, you have the camera, you were busted out of the packaging and unboxed it and this, that, and the third. And just next year that comes, this is not good enough. There's a complaint. There's nothing wrong with your circumstance. You're just looking for ways, to complain. Everything could be going well in your life. A beautiful day, everything's great. But the littlest thing can trigger that spirit of complaining. So I just want you to be mindful of each and everything that happens in a course of a week, in a course of a month, even a year. It's not going to be just complaining and that's it. It's going to be accompanied by other demonic spirits. Why? Because they add fuel to the flame. And Satan wants to add that fuel to the flame so that it can be so ignited to the point where that complaint becomes a spirit of murder. Maybe not physical murder, but you're thinking about it. Oh, man. Do you know that you can literally think about a person to the point where you don't physically kill them, but the thoughts are there? The thoughts are there. Oh yeah, they did this, they did that, they da 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 da. You know, da da da. All of that rage inside of you, all of that bitterness and pride and evil, if you would. Listen, you cannot call yourself a child of God and walk with the devil at the same time. So, in the spiritual realm, brothers and sisters, things are happening. Things are designed for mankind to be in a position to literally act like the devil, serve the devil. But we as children of God have to realize the strategies and the schemes of the devil. We have to realize that we cannot walk and live in the flesh and carnality. We have to literally hijack every thought that comes against God and his standards for our lives. We have to hijack it. We have to rebuke and renounce it. And we have to get back on course. Because the longer we are in a position of complaining, we're not doing anything. We're in a paralyzed state of being. And our faith is literally on the line. You are saying in so many ways that God, who provided and kept you and give you life and breath and allow you another day, is not enough. You are basically trying to box with God and say that his way of handling things, even if you don't see it, is not fast enough, is not enough. Don't you know that God knows all things? Don't you know that God is working everything out? And don't you know that sometimes you are or will be put in a position of being uncomfortable so that you can change? Oh, man. It may not be everybody else, brothers and sisters. It just may be you. So please stop complaining. Give God the glory and the thanks and the honor for him for giving you breath for another day. And don't just do it just because they said to do it, or it's a tradition of a month out of the year. Do it all the time, brothers and sisters. Learn to be grateful. Learn to be available for others, to give them great. Sometimes, brothers and sisters, I just want to say this before I end. Sometimes it's a good thing to say nice things, to say wonderful things to people. And if you feel that it's hard for you to say wonderful and nice and kind things to people, then you realize that you have a demonic spirit in your members that's literally trying to choke out that love in you. You need to fight. You need to warfare against those spirits that have you bound, because the devil is trying to steal your peace. And when the devil steals your peace, you're operating in the flesh. You can't think straight. You're constantly complaining because you've allowed that spirit of anger and bitterness and pride and even fear to control you. Now you're literally out of your mind. So that's why you see people acting and behaving irrationally, because they're under demonic influences. That's why, brothers and sisters. And when you see people complaining or looking for victims, right, to grab you in their cesspool of bitterness and complaints, what you have to do then is make a decision to either stop the complaining and gossiping or just go with the flow of it. We have to assess our lives, brothers and sisters. We all fall short of the glory. Now that we know better, let's all do better. Bless the true and living God.